Hello everyone, Chag Sameach, Chag Sameach. Today we will start a series of Pirkei Avot. As you know, the custom of the communities, the Sefardic and Ashkenazim both, is to start and learn Pirkei Avot. Since Pirkei Avot talks about humanity, the traits, the behavior, the characteristics of human being, and that's the time that people go out, according to one of the interpretations, that's the time that people go out to the fields. Obviously, today people don't go out, but technically it can happen next year that people go out and meet each other and talk. It's a time of the spring, following by the summer, and people are going outside and they are socializing and talking and chatting, and that's a time that we need to learn how to behave to one each other, and that's the reason, one of the reasons that we start to read Pirkei Avot in this period of time. So let's start the first Mishnah. Moshe קיבל תורה מסיני ומסרה ליהושע, ויהושע לזקנים, וזקנים לנביאים, ונביאים ומסרה לאנשי כנסת הגדולה. הם אמרו שלושה דברים, הביאו מתונים בדין, והעמידו תלמידים הרבה, ועשו סגי תורה. So Moshe Rabbeinu, we start with Moshe Rabbeinu, he received the Torah from Sinai, and then he passed it over, transmitted to Yeshua to the elders, from the elders to the prophets. From the prophets, he transmitted it to the Anshe Knesset Agdola. That's actually the great assembly, and they said three things. What's the three things that they said? The first thing is be patient, be slow when you judge in judgment. And the second thing is develop many students as you can. The third thing is make a fence for the Torah. Three things, very important things that the great assembly established. Now, let's try to get deeper in the Mishnah and try to understand many things that we can learn and can take some observations that we can learn from this Mishnah. The first thing is Moshe received the Torah from Mount Sinai, and then he passed it over to Yeshua. But we know, as the Gemara in Eruvin says, and the Rambam brings it in his introduction, that Moshe actually teach the Torah once and twice and third, first to Aaron, then to his sons, and then to the elders, and then to all the entire Israel. So actually, Am Israel heard it the first time they heard it from Moshe Rabbeinu, but not he passed it over to Yeshua. So why does the Mishnah say that Moshe passed it over to Yeshua? That's the first question that we have. The second question is, why does the Mishnah need to bring this introduction before he starts to talk about what actually we need to do, like develop students, develop disciples, and make a faith for the Torah? Why can't go directly to this commandments, this things that we need to know? Why does it need to bring before that the who passed over that? Why do we care? And if it's so important, why do we need to bring this introduction here in Pirkei Avot? Why don't we start with from the entire Torah, actually from Brachot? That's the beginning of the Torah. Why don't we don't start with that introduction? So to answer those questions, the rabbis give us a very interesting observation, very interesting thing of that we can take. That when a person looks at the Mishnah, he can say to himself, you know what? The rabbis give us actually a point of view, the way of looking in life. It's not something that it's obligated. It's not something that I have to do. It's a highly recommended. It's a good thing. How to go along. How to go along with my wife, with my friends, with my family, with my students. Okay, I don't have to do it. The Mishnah comes and teaches us, the same Torah that teaches you and instructs you and commanded you the obligation of wearing talit and tefillin, building a sukkah, all the mitzvot that we have, the same rabbis that actually started from Mount Sinai, and from Mount Sinai actually it's Hashem, it's God. He also instruct you and teach you and tell you that you have to follow those special things, those special traits that we need to observe, we need to learn, and we need to accept upon ourselves. And that's the reason that we start with the introduction of Moshe Kibet Torah Misinam Yeshua. So the first question, we answer the second question, but the first question, why did he pass over, transmit it to Yeshua? Actually, we know, as the Gemara said in Yeruvin, bring down that all the Am Yisrael heard it from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from Moshe Rabbeinu. But the answer is, since we really want to know that the tradition didn't change. When you say, yeah, I heard, so no, it's a legacy, it's a tradition, it's a mesorah that nobody can change. Yoshua was actually stuck to Moshe Rabbeinu. He was right there. He was hearing the voice of Moshe Rabbeinu, and he, from what he heard, he passed it over. But not only what Am Yisrael heard, but also things that you can learn from the behaviors from the traits, from the characteristics of Moshe Rabbeinu. This is what Yeshua observed from Moshe Rabbeinu, and he continued further and further to Zekenim and Nevi'im, and furthermore. Now, they teach us three special things. The first thing is, be patient when you come to judge. Many times, when a person comes and it's not only in the court, but even ben adam lechavro, between us and our friend, when somebody is talking, the first thing that you have is, many times people come with, I want to give you an answer. I don't really want to hear you. And that's actually one of the interpretations that we read Pirkei Avot right now between Pesach and Shavuot, is because the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva passed away that didn't respect each other. What's the meaning of didn't respect each other? It's not that they hate each other or the most, or didn't hit each other, but they didn't hear what his friend has to tell. Maybe he has a chidush, maybe he has a special thing, something that I didn't know before. He was listening to his friend, not to listen, but to respond, to answer immediately. And this is what the first thing of the Mishnah teaches us. Mitunim badim, be slow, don't judge immediately. Every coin has two sides. Everything have two sides, right? The judge can never hear only one side. He has to hear two sides in the Torah. Ushfatetem ben achichem. You have to hear two sides. Yeah, the conclusion of the judge, the conclusion of the dayan, the conclusion of the halacha can never get to the bottom line. He can never get the conclusion only after hearing both sides, and that's the way to make the right decision. That applies not only to a judge, as we said, it applies to our fellow friends when we hear him, or wife. Understand the feelings, understand what your wife wants from you, what your child needs from you. Many times you just want to get off of our child. He comes to, shows us a beautiful picture, and for us it's nothing. So if you don't have time, tell to your son, tell to your child, you know what, just let me finish cleaning, and then I will have 2 or 3 minutes, I will come and sit, and then I will really look carefully what you have to show me. Then the child feels that he really likes you, and now he doesn't have really time for that. So be slow, be patient, don't be in a rush. Yeah, don't be in a rush. That's very, very important. That's the third thing, the first thing that we can take, and it can apply to every single thing in our lifetime. Okay? The second thing that we have is Ha'amidu Talmidim Marbeh. Now, if we had time, we can talk about it for a long time, but I just want to share with you a very important observation that we have of the meaning of making many disciples, many students as you can. It's not the meaning of I want to accomplish, I want to. It's not like a Facebook that you press friend, another friend, and a friend. It doesn't work this way. A rabbi and a student, it's connected as the way that the rabbi wants to make his student stand on his own legs and on his own foot, and make him and he will be able to learn Torah by himself, get to the same conclusions as his rabbi could. And that's the meaning of a rabbi and a student. Yeah? It's better for a person to have 2 students, 3 students, not 1,000 students, but those 2 students, they change the world, right? They absolutely change the world. It's a famous story, it's Chacham Ezra Atiya in the famous book Hamoreh, that as today, you know, we have hundreds of thousands of students that learning Torah, but we can't see the giant, tremendous Torah scholars that they had in those days, like Chacham Ovadia, Chabin Tzion Abba Shaul, Chabin Tzion Levi. Why? So the Sefer HaMoreh brings what was so special with Chacham Ezra Atiyah, Alav Shalom, that he learned his student. He actually, as you want to learn something, you're curious to know how to help him. So Rav took his student at his own project. He took them, he learned as a diamond that you check and you scratch and you clean it from all sides to make it in the right shape, to make it shine, to make it beautiful. That's the meaning of a rabbi and a student. And therefore the rabbis teach us that if a person doesn't have a rabbi that is compared to an angel, don't accept from him Torah. Why not? He's teaching Torah. Because you have to have a rabbi that he comes deep to the depths of your heart, the depths of your mind, and to find your quality, to find your advantages, not a disadvantage, not to put you down, not to sign the book, I have another student. No. But this is your student, this is your disciple, this is my project, this is my legacy that I pass over, and he is me, he is myself. He's Talmidei yoter mikulam, as the Pirkei Avot says. My student is more than me, much more than me. I want a person never gets jealous. Two people. One is to his children, second is for his students. Why? Because when a rabbi feels, and a real rabbi feels that his students is part of him, he loves them, then he will really pass over, and the student will feel that, and that can make a big change, a tremendous change, as Rabbi Akiva with his 5 students make a big and giant change in the world, and Chacham Ezra Atiyah in our days make a big change with his rabbis, Chacham Tzion Abba Shaul, Chacham Ovadia, and Chacham Tzion Levi in Panama, Alav Shalom, all those great and very big scholars. Now we'll finish with the last thing. Ve'asu sayag laTorah. Make offense to the Torah. Now, obviously, maybe people will say the first observation that we have, and all the commentaries bring down, is things that you know that you can transgress, things that you know that you're gonna violate. So make offense, and make sure you don't get close to things that you can transgress. Okay. A beautiful observation I saw, that what is the meaning of Torah? When we say Torah, what is the meaning of Torah? Is it another thing that we can learn and turn us to a wise person? As we have so many professors in the university. That's not the Torah. That's not the real Torah that we talk about. The Torah is the light of the Torah, the meaning of the Torah. So there are 3 levels of Torah. The first level of Torah is the highest level is when a person learns Lishma, for the sake of Torah, for the sake of make Nachat Ruach, to fulfill the willing of Hashem, to fulfill what Hashem wants from us. That's the Lishma. The second level is Shelo Lishma. It's also very important, it's very valuable, but still it's not in the highest level of Lishma. The bottom level is, and that's the rabbi will not suggest, is the person is learning in order to abuse a friend, a fellow friend, to show a friend he's nothing, I'm better than him. Okay, and I can give so many examples, but this is a Sefardic Torah. When you learn Torah, look at the right perspective, look at the right way of how learning Torah. Don't just learn Torah because you're learning another chokhmah, another wisdom, and like math, any other miktzah, any other professional in the world. Torah is the light. The Torah is the way of life. And this is sayag la Torah. Put a fence to Torah. Before you learn Torah, understand, stop yourself. Understand what Torah you are learning. And try your best to reach the highest level of Torah. And that's Torah Lishma, for the main reason of making Nachat Ruach, making Hashem happy, so to speak, in the Torah. Hashem Yizakenu, to really fulfill. I'm talking to myself, and if somebody got any observation, any special thing that you can learn from that, that's for me the best thing that I make today. And we continue tomorrow with the second Mishnah of Shimon HaTzadik. All the very best, and Chag Sameach Mo'adin Simcha.